So, hello friends! I am Caitlin Solisipan. So, ako yung magtuturo sa inyo ngayon about the human body systems. So, I know na may konting alam na siguro kayo about this topic and kung hindi naman, ituturo ko naman sa inyo ito. So, let's start. So, for today's guide, we'll be talking about the skeletal system, the integumentary system, and the digestive system. So yun, lesson 1, lesson 2, and lesson 3. So, the skeletal system. Bale, it says here na the human body is made up of different kinds of bones. These bones are called skeleton. These bones then work together as a system called skeletal system, and it is the body's central framework. So, basically, yung skeletal system is yung mga bones na nagwo-work together as a system. Yung mga bones natin inside the body are the skeletal system. So, did you know na yung adult human consists of 206 bones and infants have only 300 bones? Kasi, nagkukos nito is that it is fused together when they become adult. Yung 300 bones nag-fuse together, so magiging 206 na lang. So, from 300 to 206 bones na lang. So, next. So, the skeletal system is classified into two systems, the axial and the appendicular. So, the axial skeleton includes the skull, the vertebral column, spine, ribs, and sternum, while the appendicular skeleton includes the bones of shoulder, arms, hands, hips, legs, and feet. So, yung orange are the axial skeleton and yung blue naman are the appendicular skeleton bones. So, next. So, dito pinapakita yung axial skeleton ng which is the skull. So, may 8 cranial bones and 14 facial bones yung skull natin. And so, these 8 cranial bones, so ito yung sa image natin, these 8 cranial bones form a rigid case that protects the brain. So, yung cranial bones is nagpa-form ng rigid case or matigas na case to protect the brain from danger. So, for example, kung nauntog ka sa pader, hindi agad yung brain yung matatamaan, kundi yung cranial bones muna natin. So, dito naman sa 14 facial bones, yun yung nagpro-protect ng eyeball natin and specifically yung eye socket and yung mandible or jawline naman yung nang-hold naman sa teeth natin. So, ito yung 14 facial bones and yung 8 cranial bones. So, part pa rin ng axial skeleton ang vertebral column and ribs. So, ito yung vertebral column and this is the ribs. So, as you can see, may 12 pairs yung ribs natin. Ayan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, yung upper 7, ito, are the true ribs. And yung 2 dito na hindi connected are called the floating ribs. So, ito, yung 8, 9, 10 naman are called the false ribs. So, yung function ng spinal column natin is to protect the spinal cord. And yung function naman ng rib cage natin is to protect the lungs and the heart. So, important talaga yung yung ribs and yung yung vertebral column kasi pinoprotect niya yung pinaka parang sensitive or most important part of the body. Kasi yun, nagpo-protect yung lungs and heart natin. So, dito naman are the bones na part pa rin ng appendicular skeleton. So, yung appendicular skeleton consists of the bones sa shoulder, arms, hands, hips, legs, and feet. So, i-discuss natin yung humerus, radius, and ulna, wrist, and pelvic bone. So, nakikita niyo naman, ito yung humerus, radius, and ulna, wrist, and the pelvic bone. Ito, which is the pelvis. So, yung function ng humerus natin, or the definitions are, yung humerus natin is a long bone in the upper arm, while the radius and ulna are two bones in the lower arm, which is yung radius is thicker than the ulna, and yung ulna is slightly longer than the radius. So yung radius is mas makapal, while yung ulna naman is mas mahaba. So yung wrist, it connects the hand to the forearm. So ito yung wrist natin. While the pelvic bone naman, it supports the lower parts of the body and aid the movement of the legs. So, ine-help na mag-move yung legs natin by the help of the pelvic bone. So, inside the bones are bone marrows that are very important to the body. So, there are two types, the red bone marrow and the yellow bone marrow. So, yung red bone marrow is found in the humerus, femur, pelvis, and vertebrae, while the yellow bone marrow is found in many other bones. So, ayun, may bone marrows daw sa inside ng bones natin. And these are very important talaga. So, important functions of skeletal system are support, protection, movement, storage, and supply. So, yung support, it provides the framework which supports and maintains shape of the body. So, sinusupport yung shape ng body natin. And the protection, it protects the internal organs of the body, like pinoprotect niya yung lungs, heart, yung spinal column natin, and yung brain natin, like that. And yung movement, it provides an attachment for the muscle which makes body movements possible. So, bale, yung skeletal system natin is naka-attach sa muscles natin which makes the body movements possible. Kaya nagmo-move tayo, ganun. So, yung storage and supply, it stores important minerals like calcium and phosphorus and produces both red and white blood cells. So, ayun, nagpo-produce daw ang mga bones natin like red and white blood cells. And nagsustore siya ng important minerals like calcium and phosphorus. And so, before I discuss the integumentary, i-answer lang muna natin yung what's in sa page 12. So, the skin. So, yung skin is the answer. The skin is the largest organ of the body. The outer layer of the skin is the epidermis. Hair, toenails, and fingernails are also part of the skin. And the sweat, as waste product of the body, comes out of the pores of our skin. So, yung number 5 naman is, they are tiny holes in the skin where tiny hairs are located, which are the pores. So, pores yung tawag dun. Next. So, the integumentary system consists of the skin, hair, nails, glands, and nerves. So, makikita sa picture, may skin dyan, and yung nails natin, which yung finger, and yung mga glands and nerves inside our skin and nails. Hindi, skin natin. So, yung main function ng integumentary system is to act as a barrier to protect the body from the outside environment. So, ayun, pinoprotect yung body natin from outside environment. So, I-explain naman natin yung hair, nails, glands, and nerves. So, dito yung hair, it helps keep you warm. And yung nails, it gives structure to the ends of our fingers. And yung glands naman is, it releases oils for moisture and protection. And yung nerves is, it sends and receive messages to the brain. So, ayan yung yung main function and functions ng hair, nails, glands, and nerves natin. So, next. So, ito yung pinaka functions of the integumentary system. Like, ito yung general na. So, the integumentary system has many functions. Most of them are involved in protecting you and regulating your body's internal functions in variety of ways. So, first, it protects the body's internal living tissues and organs. And number two, it protects against invasion by infectious organisms like germs, bacteria, ganun yung mga bad bacteria, ganun. And it protects the body from dehydration kasi nagsistore yung skin natin ng water. And protects the body against abrupt changes in temperature. So, nag-aalap yung body natin sa pag-iba-iba ng temperature. And it helps in disposing waste materials. Kasi like yung sweat, yung sweat natin, yun, it's a waste material, yung sweat na. And pati na yung, I think, tears. So, number 6 acts as a receptor for touch, pressure, pain, heat, and cold. So, yung skin natin, di ba, pag nakatouch tayo ng malamig or mainit, nagre-react tayo like, oh my gosh, mainit, masakit, gano'n. So, important yon. Isang ring function ng integumentary system yon. And, ayun na nga, yung integumentary system, it stores water and fat. So, bale, it protects our body from dehydration also kasi nga yun, nag-store pala ng water yung integumentary system natin. So, next. So, as you can see, the integumentary system, yung skin, which is the skin, yung i-discuss natin yung nandyan, yung hair shaft, sweat pore, epidermis, dermis, hypodermis, eccrine, sweat gland, artery, vein, and yung nandyan pa. Pero i-discuss natin yung mga matatopic lang, yung masasabi ko lang. So, ito, epidermis, keratin, dermis, hypodermis, and my next pa kasi, which are the sweat glands, hair root, hair shaft, and melanocytes. So, balik muna natin. So, ayun. So, discuss muna natin. Wait lang. So, ayun. So, yung epidermis is composed of epithelial cells that serve as the outer layer of the skin. So, ito yung epidermis, which is talaga naman na yung pinaka-outer layer. Kasi ito, outer to inner. Ito na yung nasa inner natin. So, yung keratin is the protein that is secreted by the epidermis cells. So, nagsisecrete pala ng keratin yung mga epidermis cells natin, which is this epidermis. And yung dermis naman, which is this, is the layer below the epidermis. Yes, so outer and inner, and it's below the epidermis. It is 15 to 40 times thicker than the epidermis. So, mas makapal ng 50 to 40 times yung dermis kaysa sa epidermis. And it composed of connective tissues to prevent the skin from tearing and enable the skin to return to its normal state after being stretched. So, may connective tissues yung dermis natin to prevent tearing and stretchable pala siya, yung dermis. And yung hypodermis naman is the layer beneath the dermis. So, oh my god. So, ito. It's called, hindi ko mabasa masyado. Subcutis, I think. And or hypodermis. So, hypodermis is composed of connective tissues rin that stores fats and helps the body in retaining heat. So, ayun, the epidermis, dermis, hypodermis. Next. So, ayun, sweat glands na tayo, which is also known as the sudoriferous or sudoriparous glands. So they are small tubular structures of the skin that produces sweat. So ito na yung sweat glands. Syempre sweat from the word sweat. Nagsisecrete ng sweat yung sweat glands natin. And yung hair root, the part of the hair below the skin. So ito, hair root. Yan, hair root. Ito yung hair root. Di ba pag nagtatanggal tayo ng buhok, may parang something doon. And I think yun yung hair root. So it is the part that interacts with many other associated structures within the dermis and hypodermis layers of skin. So yung hair root natin is somewhat nakaka-interact ng mga dermis and hypodermis cells natin. And yung hair shaft, which is this hair shaft, is the visible part of the hair that protrudes through the skin. So, ito, yung nakikita sa labas, sa skin natin, are called hair shaft. So, yung nakikita lang, yung tinatawag na hair shaft. And yung melanocytes naman are special cells producing the pigment melanin. So, yung melanocytes is located in the epidermis. So, dito. So, ito yung nag-a-affect ng color natin. Like, di ba yung melanin? Kung mas marami kang melanin, mas brown yung skin mo. And kung kulang ka naman sa melanin, parang mas white yung skin mo. So, ito, melanocytes yung nagpo-produce ng melanin natin. Parang yun nga, nagpa-vary siya from, it depends kung ilang percent or gaano karami yung melanin mo para ma-identify ka as like brown or white, ganun. So, ayan, additional activities, page 16. So, yung number 1 is false. Kasi nga, too much exposure to the ultraviolet rays of the sun is good for the skin. No, too much UV on the skin can cause skin cancer, so it's not good for the skin. Number 2, the fingernails must be properly trimmed to prevent the accumulation of dirt and other unwanted substances. So true, fingernails must be cleaned at all times. So kailangan mo talagang mag-cut ng fingernails to prevent yung mga germs na maiipit yan sa nails mo. Ganun. So, number 3, in keeping our skin, nails, and hair healthy, we must avoid using products with strong chemicals. This is true. Too much chemicals can lead to unhealthy skin, nails, and hair, and possible ma-irritate yung skin mo, which is not good for the skin also. And number 4, consulting the dermatologist regularly is highly encouraged to maintain good health of your integumentary system. Well, I think this is false kasi dermatologist is expensive, so just remember to properly clean your hair, skin, and nails. Pero pag afford mo naman na pumunta sa dermatologist, then it's also okay. So it's false and true for number 4. And number 5, integumentary system is considered as one of the first lines of defense of our body against pathogens. True, this is true because the integumentary system protects you from the pathogens. Diba sinabi ko yung integumentary system natin, it protects us from the environment, which includes pathogens, bacteria, germs, and everything na hindi natin nakikita na germs, ganon. So, ayun, ito. Ito yung answer sa additional activities, page 16. And so, next. So, punta naman tayo sa digestive system. So, the digestive system consists of the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestines, and large intestines. So, digestion is defined as the process of breaking down the food into a form that can be absorbed for use by the body. So, first, the digestion starts from the mouth, and then the teeth cut and grind the food, and the saliva inside the mouth moistens the food and changes the starch to sugar. The ptyalin is an enzyme in the saliva that helps in the digestion of starch. So, 'di ba kung kakain tayo ng food, for example, yung kanin, yung rice, 'di ba siyempre isusubo natin sa mouth natin. So, dun nagsa-start yung digestion. And then, from the mouth, i-chew natin. Like, kakainin na natin. And then, yung teeth natin, 'di ba? Kinakat niya yung food natin, yung rice, and yung saliva natin sa mouth natin, yung nagmo-moisten sa food para mag-change from starch to sugar. And sa saliva naman natin may tinatawag na ptyalin, which is an enzyme in the saliva na nag-help sa digestion ng starch. So, after na parang yun, nakat na ng teeth natin yung rice, yung kanin, pupunta na siya sa esophagus, which is a long muscular tube that starts from the back of the throat and ends in the stomach. And the food is pushed down the esophagus in the stomach by peristalsis. So, ayun, di ba? Pag naswallow mo na yung food, yung kanin, pupunta na siya sa esophagus. And after sa esophagus, pupunta na siya sa stomach. So, esophagus and then stomach. Dadating na siya sa stomach. And yung process na yun is called peristalsis. So, pag magpa-vomit ka naman, that's called reverse peristalsis. So, after the esophagus, the food travels to the stomach, like I said. So, yung stomach is a muscular pouch that secretes gastric juice. Here, the food is broken down into smaller pieces, and the gastric juices in the stomach then act on the broken food and split the proteins and fats. So, ayun, di ba, napumunta na siya sa stomach, and then, dito, nababroke na, the food is broken down into smaller pieces. So, bale, mas maliit na yung kanin, ganun. And yung gastric juice sa stomach natin, yung nag-help na i-break down yung food and para ma-split yung nutrients ng food natin, like the proteins and fats. And then after sa stomach, pupunta na siya sa small intestines, which is a 7-meter coiled long tube in the lower abdomen where food is finally digested and absorbed by the body. So, pupunta na siya sa small intestines, yung kanin natin na smaller pieces na and is absorbed by the body. So, dito na-absorb yung nutrients from the food sa small intestines. And after the small intestines, pupunta na siya sa large intestines. Yung undigested food goes to the large intestine. Sa small intestines na pala mag-e-end, and yung undigested food, like it says here sa PowerPoint, it goes to the large intestines, which is also a temporary storage of water. So, the feces or poop, yung tae, are the waste product of digestion and are stored in rectum. So, ito yung rectum, and the rectum stores this waste until it is eliminated through the anus. So, yung anus is dun lumalabas yung tae natin, yung undigested food, ganon. Waste product. So, waste product yung poop natin. So, recap, mouth, pupunta yung mouth dito, dadaan sa esophagus, pupunta siya sa stomach. Parang ito yung stomach natin. And then, pupunta sa small intestines, where dito na-absorb na yung nutrients from the food, and yung undigested food naman is pupunta dito sa large intestine. And, ayun, sa large intestine nag-create ng waste product, which is the poop, and yung poop natin is nakastore dito sa rectum until siguro matatain na tayo hanggang sa lalabas na sa anus. So, ayun yung digestion.